My name is Mukul. I spent a lot of time with many of you guys thinking about the future of the industry, solving business problems, developing new concepts and solutions in the insurance sector in Canada, right here out of Toronto. And it's my pleasure to discuss a topic that I'm very passionate about, which is customer experience and what does it look like and what does it mean in the future. I've been tracking this space and listening to consumers and talking to consumers for a while now. We recently published a study a few years ago, and then this is a refresh of that. So what you'll see here today is the first eyes on some fresh consumer research in Canada and a bit of the backdrop on how this came about. And we'll talk about some of the evolutions and shifts and how consumers are thinking about how they interact with companies, and more specifically, the implications on their insurance interactions. So hopefully you'll find this interesting, engaging. And one of the things, just as a setup, is that we know that consumers look at other industries to set their expectations on what they expect from their businesses. We know that 68% of consumers will stop doing business with a company if they don't have a great experience. So poor customer service leads to a significant drop-off. And so we'll touch on all these aspects. And the two things that I'm really interested in and passionate about are engagement. So how do you move beyond the transactional interactions with consumers into a much more meaningful, ongoing engagement and build a broader ecosystem interactions with customers? And the second piece would be around loyalty. So how do you actually drive a meaningful, trusting relationship with customers? And that's an area where insurers, the insurance industry, has often struggled with relative to other industries, and we heard a bit about that earlier. So customer trust is an important theme, and it underpins a lot of what you can build your business on. So we'll explore those topics today. So let's start by looking at today's customer. We're seeing a rise of a new breed of customer, as you've seen with some of the presentations earlier today. I just want to talk about four things and how that's evolving. So from an insurance context, if you think about the customer yesterday versus today or tomorrow, we're moving from assets to experiences, right? So this is about a consumer that's trying to not only insure and protect its assets, but really protect its experience and the journey that it's going through. And we heard a bit about that earlier today as well. But this is one fundamental shift that everything is moving towards. The second would be the shift from ownership to usage. So as you think about insuring things, people are starting to move towards insuring smaller aspects of how they use those things and the usage of those things. So essentially protecting or shortening of the life cycle of what you want to protect. Sorry, I'll go back here. The third piece is the whole to part. So we're seeing that in insurance in terms of unbundling of certain types of policies. You're not necessarily getting a cookie cutter, one-size-fits-all type of approach. People are looking for personalization, so they're moving away from this notion of whole to parts. And you see that in other parts of their experiences with music. Of course, the example came up earlier, but you're now starting to see the unbundling of policies as well. And then finally, individuals to networks. So the power of the network coming through and moving from insuring a house, for example, to insuring a set of connected devices within the house becomes equally important and paramount as we move towards a more connected ecosystem.